Hey there, House here. I know that this video is coming in a bit late as it is Saturday night and I didn't get my video in time for the Thursday night game, but it's been a very busy week. But I'm here now and getting you at least as many picks as I can for the upcoming games coming tomorrow and Monday. Last week I went 9-7, bringing my overall record to 40, 39-1, above 500, which also means that my win percentage is 51%. So steady improvements. The Thursday night game, originally thinking Bears, I was picking Bears until about 3 hours before the game. I saw a very unique stat that said Carson Wentz was 6-0 in Thursday night games with really good stats. Obviously, the game happened and the Commanders won, but it wasn't because Carson Wentz played well. It was just an outcome that had to happen from two bad teams playing a very poor game. So needless to say, before the game started, I did change my pick from the Bears to the Commanders, so that one was correct so far. Let's roll right into the remaining games for this week 6 now, shall we? Starting off on Sunday, we have the Giants versus the Ravens. Now, this is a game that is going to be very heavily run-oriented. Both offenses have a very good run game. When Daniel Jones is healthy, he runs almost as effectively as Lamar Jackson. They're both that dual threat kind of quarterback. Jones relies a bit more on his legs currently than Jackson has to, because Jackson has a really strong arm and accurate arm, and Daniel Jones isn't quite there just yet. I believe that the way, if Jones's ankle is healthy enough to where they would have to respect his ability to run, plus the way that Barkley has been going at it so far this year, I'm picking the Giants to win this one. Next, we have the Colts versus the Jaguars. Now, when these two teams met a few weeks ago, the Colts looked completely lost. The Jaguars manhandled them, and they made it a miserable day for Jonathan Taylor and the entire Colts offense. This week, Taylor is not going to be out there to assist them, which might even work out for the Colts in the long run. He's coming off of a high ankle sprain. He was practicing. It was questionable as if he would be available to play in this game. But seeing as how they continually struggle against the Jaguars and he does not play well against them, give him the additional week off, let him be good to go for the following week, and take your lumps here. With that being said, I'm picking the Jaguars. I don't see the Colts pulling this one out. Next, we have the Browns versus the Patriots. Browns, an offense that runs the ball incredibly well. They lead the league in rushing. I think they're averaging something like 190 rushing yards a game, which is ridiculous. The Patriots are more than likely going to be without Mac Jones. He did log limited practices all week, but he's still dealing with that ankle injury. Belichick might not want to rush him back. They're going to go with their third-string quarterback, who is now their backup and will probably stay their backup for the rest of the year. I think the Browns are going to run through the Patriots here. Next up, Saints versus the Bengals. This one, pretty clear-cut. I think the Bengals will win. They've got a better offense. They're a better team. The Saints are still going to be without Michael Thomas at receiver, and Chris Olave is dealing with a concussion, so it's questionable as to if he'll be out there and available. So really, all the Bengals have to worry about is Kamara, who can be a game wrecker, but I don't think it'll happen here. Next up, Steelers versus the Bucs. Another pretty easy one. It's going to be the Bucs. They're going to win this game. The Steelers started Pickens last week, and their offense mustered 3 points. So I'm going to see a lot. I'm expecting to see a lot more rookie struggles out of them. Falcons versus the 49ers. I'm picking the 49ers here. I don't trust the Falcons and their offense. They did get hosed a bit last week going against the Bucs in a questionable roughing the passer penalty towards the end of the game on third down, which would have given them the ball back and a chance to drive down the field and win. But their offense just doesn't do enough consistently to be any kind of threat. And I'm picking the Niners. Packers versus the Jets. I'm expecting a bounce back here. The Packers had one really good half of football last week in London and then decided to not score again in the second half and ended up losing to the Giants. I don't think they're going to go 0-2 against the New York teams, and they're going to take out the Jets here. Dolphins versus Vikings. The Dolphins are going to have to go with their third-string quarterback with Tua already ruled out and Teddy Bridgewater, I believe, out for the game as well due to injury. So they're going with a third stringer against this Vikings team that, although it doesn't always look pretty, they're 4-1 and they're probably going to be 5-1 after this week. Picking the Vikings. All right, next up we have the Rams versus the Panthers. There's some speculation circling around that the Panthers are looking to move Christian McCaffrey, which could begin to be a distraction for him and the team. But he's a professional. He'll go in, he'll do his job, and he'll pretty much just be putting out an audition for the other 31 teams in the league that he could end up being traded to. Again, it's very early, so there's nothing to say that it will happen or happen quickly, but it's a possibility. Also going on with the Panthers, Baker Mayfield is injured. He might be available to be a backup in this game, but the Panthers will be starting former U.S., what was that league called? USF, the American Football League from a couple years ago. P.J. Walker will be starting this game for the Panthers. Either way, it doesn't matter. The Rams are going to win. Seahawks versus the Cardinals. I like the Cardinals in this one. I like Kyler Murray. I think he's a very good quarterback, and he has a lot more talent than what he's actually shown so far this year. They're good. They took a little bit of a hit to the run game with their first two options going down to injury, but they've got a backup in Eno Benjamin who should supplement pretty well. Plus, Kyler Murray is a running back, so he'll be fine. Picking the Cardinals. Chiefs versus the Bills. This is probably going to be one of the most entertaining games of the week. This is a game that's set to go off at 3:30, and I know a lot of people are asking them to flex it to a primetime game, whether it's Sunday or Monday night. It's just not going to work out that way. But the last time these two teams met, it was probably one of the best playoff games that anybody could have watched in recent history. They put up a bunch of points. There was 17 seconds to go with the Chiefs having the ball to tie it, to force overtime, and then eventually winning in overtime. It was just really an offensive juggernaut game, back and forth, a lot of fun to watch. Probably won't have as many points this time around, but it'll still be entertaining. I'm picking the Bills in this one. Speaking of Sunday night, this one should still be a pretty good game, even though Dak Prescott is not going to be out there at quarterback. Expecting him to maybe come back and start the following week, but they want to give him one more week of time just to kind of help his thumb feel a little bit better. I like the Eagles in this matchup. The Cowboys have played well under Cooper Rush, but at this point, he's mostly a step above managing. They're not going to put the ball in his hands to runs. They're going to be a more run-heavy team, and the Eagles have a much more explosive offense that can put up a lot of points in bunches. And lastly, we have the Chargers versus the Broncos on Monday night. I'm taking the Chargers here. The Broncos look lost on offense. The last time we watched them was that terrible Thursday night game last week against the Colts where they lost 12-9. This is not going to be a very entertaining game. It's going to be a blowout quickly, and Russell Wilson's going to struggle. I'm taking the Chargers. Well, those are my picks. Thank you for tuning into the House Report. If there were some selections that I made that you disagree with, please leave your own selections in the comment section. And lastly, for all my betting friends out there, remember, you win some and you lose some, but the house always wins. Over 500, baby. Let's go.